In this tutorial, we're going to give you a detailed overview of the pocket and profile toolpath. We are going to walk you through all the options that we have available when creating pocket and profile toolpaths. We will show you how to work on VCarve Pro program and on CNC both. So, let's start new project. Single-sided jobs. We set the width to 15 inches. Height of 12 inches and material thickness of ½ inch. This is optional, you can set your job as you want. There's a 0 position on the material surface and the XY dating position in the lower left-hand corner. Then press OK. We need to import vector in VCarve Pro. Click on this icon, Import Vector. Center the project in the middle of the job. Now that we've got our vector, we can now switch over to the Toolpath tab. There is buttons at the top of the Toolpath tab, as well as the Design tab. To switch to Toolpath, click on this icon, or click F12. If you want to return to Design tab, click the icon or click F11. So, as always, it's best to check over your material setup. So, material thickness is ½ inch. XY lower left. Z0 on the material surface. And then we've got our clearance and plunges. The gaps are 1/4 inch for each of those. And then we've got home and start position 0, 0, and then the Z gap again at ½ inch. So, we'll go ahead and we'll press OK. We must use two toolpaths. First we use pocket toolpath, then we use profile toolpath. So, the pocket toolpath allows you to take whatever vectors that you've got selected and machine inside of those to clear the material out to your specified cut depth. And the profile toolpath will cut to and from a specified depth and will follow along the outside, inside or selected, open or closed vector. To begin with pocket toolpath, let's just select these vectors. Hold the Shift key, then click on the vectors. Go over into the pocket toolpath, which can be found under the toolpath operations, and it's this icon here. We're going to leave the start depth at 0. Set the cut depth to 0.15 inches. Next up, we need to specify the tools. I will select 0.125 inch end mill bit, and you can see within the tool database. We're able to see all of the different geometry, cutting parameters, and feeds, and speeds that we currently have set for this tool, and then we could go ahead and press select, and you will see now it's been imported into our tools list for this pocket toolpath. We've got an option to edit the tool. And this will edit any of the parameters that we have got set for the tool. You can set the parameters for your tools, depends on your machine and tools you use. After setting your bit parameters, the program will calculate how many passes with go through your material, or we have 3 passes. You can edit by click on edit passes, you can add passes, or decrease it as you want. Next up, we have 2 options for the actual strategy. We can cut this in an offset strategy or a raster strategy. Now the offset follows the shape of the vectors, as you can see, demonstrated in this graphic here. And then, the raster strategy goes right and left. I use offset. Check the box, ramp plunge moves. Add 0.5 inches in the box. Then click calculate. You can name this file as you want, I just leave it as is. Now the profile toolpath will cut all the material, which is 0.5 inches, and will follow along the outside of the shape. Simply come up to Toolpath Operations, and it's this icon here, the Profile Toolpath. That will open the 2D Profile Toolpath form. We do have the option to show advanced toolpath options. And if we check that box, what happens is you'll notice that the list gets longer. There's a lot more variables here, and it just gives us more detailed options to enable us to have more control over the profile toolpath. So, let's start at the top of the form with the cutting depths. The start depth set to 0. The cutting depth set to the thickness of the material, which is 0.5 inches. For the tools, I will use the same bit, which is 0.125 inches and mill bit. Then I use outside to cut outside the vector. Click on the box, do separate last pass. Make allowance 0.01 inches. Add taps to square your cut. This is very important to protect your job and your tools. You can adjust the value of the taps depends on the thickness of the materials and the size of your job. Then add ramp. Click on the box, I set it to 0.5 inches, then name your file. Then click on Calculate. The software will automatically open up the preview toolpath form where we're displayed the toolpath in the 3D view. We can preview that toolpath, and then what we can do is we can just double click on the waste material. And you can see it's done beautifully there, a nice beveled edge, and it's all been cut out nicely. Now we want to save our files in a folder and send it to the CNC. Click on the icon, Save Toolpath. Don't follow me on this section, because your machine may be different from my machine. Every machine needs different G-code. Use the post-processors work with your CNC. Then click Save. Then save it to USB flash. Take the USB to your control in your CNC. Next, we will work on our machine, set the job, and make the pocket toolpath first. Then we make the profile toolpath second. You can use clamp or screw to square your material on spoiled board. I use screw, turn on the machine. Every machine has different setting. In general, first you have to home your machine. All axes move to the 0 position on the lower left corner. Move the X-axis and Y-axis to the lower left corner of the material. Then move Z-axis down until it is very close to the top of the materials. Use paper between your tool and the materials. Move the Z-axis down slowly with moving the paper. Stop moving Z-axis when the paper stops moving. That is your 0 setting. upload your first file to machine. Click Run. Lets the machine do the job for you. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel.